What law isn't enforced enough? I dunno if they're breaking the law, but there should be a law against those goddamn bright as the sun headlights of modern cars. Yeah, you look super cool with your bright white LED headlights, but those things are too bright, especially those shitty systems that turn on the high beams when the computer doesn't detect another car. It's often wrong. I'm there and you are blinding me. Especially if that car is then some SUV that's up higher than most cars in Europe. Most cars are not. SUVs and pickup trucks. I seriously considered driving with sunglasses on at night. In the US, certain traffic laws, 10 a ticket for a window tint 1 to dark, the rich asshole in a huge pickup truck or a Tesla is speeding to pass people then slowing down in the fast lane next to a semi-truck to block everyone in, and God forbid you flash your brights at them, or else you're getting brake checked and risking a massive crash on the highway that could wind up fatal. But yeah, the guy with a license plate a month past expiration is the real villain. Insider trading, antitrust, tax evasion where the case is complex or corporate, labor and employment laws, environmental regulations, anti-consumer laws, and corporate manslaughter. Basically, all the laws that affect the rich have been diluted to the point of being just a cost of doing business. Pay enough to your lawyers, accountants, and pet politicians, and the worst it will ever be is a small portion of your revenue. A lot of the top ones are things that everyday people do and things that people see for themselves. Everyday ... But the crimes that often go unpunished are those we do not see. I'll have to go with white-collar and or executive corruption, theft, or malicious decision-making for the sake of making a bigger monetary profit. Throw in their bribery and pocket-greasing, so fraud at higher levels in governments and corporations. Feels weird to say this, but jaywalking. I live in a major city and drive every day. I'm a very cautious driver, but people straight up walking across the middle of a busy four-lane city street like it was nothing scares the living shit out of me. It seems to be happening more often, and I'm really sick of it. Like, I don't want to kill you, bro. Can you please just use the crosswalk? Perjury. A Master employee assaulted a man on camera in Chicopee, MA in 2021. Lied to police, and later lied under oath about the incident numerous times. A violent assailant who committed numerous felonies is still on the taxpayer's payroll. Call Massachusetts Department of Transportation and ask them if all their employees have a license to commit perjury. Seems they might. Basically, any white-collar financial type crime is woefully unenforced. And when is it enforced? It's a relatively minimal fine. That means it's just chalked up as a business cost and probably deducted from their taxes to boot. If they can make several billion by breaking the law, and the punishment is $1 million fine, it's a no-brainer just to crime to their heart's content. Antitrust. There are so many industries in the USA which are dominated by a small handful of huge firms. If we enforced antitrust and broke up these monopolies and oligopolies, it would 1. Increase competition for customers, driving down prices. 2. Increase competition for workers, driving up wages by inflation and cost of living crunch. White-collar crimes. Wage theft by employers of their employees. News-owed employers face little accountability for wage theft, greatly exceeds the total dollar of burglary and regular theft. Yet, only one of those is criminal in many jurisdictions, and it seems only one is really prosecuted. In Australia, it's illegal to sit in the overtaking fast lane when the posted speed limit is all 90 km/h. Our highways are 100. Meanwhile, every single time I'm on the highway I'm overtaking someone by the slow lane, was he's doing 90 in a 100 in the fast lane. Never seen a single cop pull someone for this. The Johnson Amendment of U.S. Tax Code, which prevents 501c3 non-profit orgs like churches from making public political speeches. Churches in USA are largely pro-Trump and preach about electing him with no regard for the law. Far from the worst thing to happen in a church, but it is a display of defiance. Pedestrian crosswalks near or on college campuses. AM faculty and have seen numerous students nearly get mowed down despite lights flashing there. They're crossing and cars paying no heed. Just sit a cop out there and rack up the dollar in fines. This would come to a stop after about 2 weeks. Is about men threatening them and not being taken seriously, which then results in dozens of women's deaths yearly at the hands of the very men or women pleaded with authorities to take seriously. In Arizona, we have stretches of road called safety corridors, where they say there is high enforcement, so right away they are admitting that in other areas they don't enforce the laws. But the kicker is that they don't enforce the laws in the safety corridors either. It's a joke. Left lane use. Disclosure: in America, many states have laws or advisory signage stating that the left lane is for passing and drivers are to keep right except to pass. This is almost never enforced, and therefore most just use the lane as just another lane of travel. Any sexual assault laws: most rape kits get discarded or tossed under the table, and most rapists walk freely on the streets, despite evidence. Brock rapist Turner is a prime example. Edit Alan Turner now. Still a rapist. Still a free man walking. Send him back to jail. Rights. For example, Sarah Everard's murder in COVID. The rules were so blowy that a cop saying you've broken COVID restrictions and have to come with me. It was an impossible space to know if you could challenge. It's so important that people know their own rights. Traffic laws in general. How I haven't been in an accident yet is down to dumb luck and my own overt caution. Hell, I've seen people blow through red lights while speeding in front of the cops around here and they didn't do shit. Shoplifting. At a tech store that people would steal from several times per day, and even if they went over the felony limit, 90 of the time they just got a night in jail, or sometimes just got let go on the spot. Any abuse of power: police, judges, politicians. We're putting these people in positions that allow for them to take advantage of those under them, and taking advantage of that position destroys any trust in the whole system. Immigration laws. I'm for immigration, but we also need to properly enforce our laws and police our borders. Want more people to immigrate legally. Rework the laws to make it easier to get a work visa. The border of America. That's the craziest thing I've ever seen. 7.2 million came in the last 4 years illegally. Next to no deportations. It is legit so insane people on here don't even talk about it. Speeding. Where the fuck are you going in such a hurry? Is it going to leave? You seriously put other people's lives at risk all so you can get there 1 minute earlier. Slow the fuck down, asshole. Using the left lane for anything other than passing should be a ticket. Intentionally holding up traffic so that people have to pass on your right side should be punishable with a roadside flogging. Texting while driving. It's not like other things that are demonized. People actually take risks and get other people killed because they can't ignore their ringtone for 10 minutes. Very selfish. Jaywalking. MS think they can just cross the street all willy-nilly like it's nothing. They will go all the way across the lanes and have no remorse or second thought about it. Lawlessness. I don't know if it's an enforcement thing or a weak punishment thing, but big money gets away with a lot of market manipulation. When they get caught, they get a simple slap on the wrist. In Gainesville, GA, it is technically illegal to eat chicken with a fork. And I think far too many criminals are still walking the streets when they should be locked up for their crimes. Trespassing. Get off my lawn. Get your dog off my lawn. Get off my driveway. Respect boundaries. There are sidewalks for a reason. If none, walk in the street. Not on my lawn. Parking in disabled parking spaces even just for a minute, or because someone just had to run inside to drop something off without the appropriate documentation placard. In Culpeper, VA, it's illegal to wash your mule on the sidewalk. The fact that nobody has been arrested for this in so long means they need to step up there. Enforcement. 911 abuse. If the general public only knew how bad repeat callers, frequent flyers, and homeless massively abuse 911 resources, they'd be appalled and enforce those laws. Discrimination. It's hard to catch subtle discrimination and hard to get evidence of discrimination that happens so quickly. Catcalling is so damn hard to catch after all. Treason, if it was enforced as it should be. There should be hundreds of MAGA shots in federal prison for life and Trump in a federal penitentiary for life. Slower traffic keep right. Left lanes for passing, etc. There's laws for it in nearly every state. And yet I've almost never seen anyone pulled over for it. Still praying for the day we have a machine in cars like they feature in The Fifth Element that issues demerits when you commit a driving infraction. Texting or physical messing with phone while driving. It's the number one thing that either causes risk or general annoyance when I leave the house. 18 U.S.C. section 240 to deprivation of rights under color of law should be used to jail legislators, justices that enforce unconstitutional laws. Bribery in the legal and political systems. Insider trading would be next. Profiting excessively off war is one that should be illegal. Surprised no one said animal abuse or animal cruelty IMO. They should be met with harsher punishments rather than a slap on the wrist. Not handicap parking. Running stoplight signs. Even though fire captains do it, not go into a fire, just going grocery shopping. Swearing in public and posting repeat questions on Reddit. Although the first is excusable when it's in response to the second. Blinkers. People be driving around taking turns without lights as if they're the Riddler forcing you to guess where they're going. Literally any traffic laws, particularly in North America. Toronto, for example, basically didn't enforce any for about a decade. Tax fraud. If the part-timer working at Walmart is paying more taxes than a millionaire or billionaire, something ain't right. Failure to signal. Studies have shown that turn signal neglect results in twice as many crashes as distracted driving. I'm in Toronto, and it's 100 blocking the intersection with a car. Happens all the time, and no one ever gets ticketed.